You get the feeling this is not going to last very long. Let's just look at the numbers. 188 centimeters they come in at the height, but the reach of Martinek at 203 centimeters gives them a little advantage. They switch in there as well in terms of stance for Martinek. Whatever that counts for, I don't know. We'll find out across the next KSW MMA rounds, scheduled for 3 at heavyweight. Filip Stawowy takes on Michal Martinek. Big boys. Our referee, Mr. Grzegorz Szczepaniak. Chris, this is an explosive fight in prospect, isn't it?
100%.
First round.
22 pounds nearly between these two guys, yet the odds are actually even, dead even on the bookies. I think it's all about heavyweight MMA factors. Does someone get hit early? Does someone give up the takedown? Someone get more tired? They're both fairly athletic. Let's see how it rolls.
Well, Martinek, fighting southpaw, goes by the moniker Blackbeard, obvious. Stawowy, more traditional in the boxing stance. Good guard, that right hand under the chin. Martinek, a little bit more relaxed, looking to play a little bit, looking to maybe deflect a little bit of that forward motion. There's a lot of weight behind Stawowy, and he's one of these guys, isn't he, that, you know, you look at him and you think, well, he's not very fit, but he moves quick, doesn't he?
He dips his head a lot into those combinations, and that's one of the things you got to watch out for, because Martinek is so light on his feet and so fast. The hand fighting you see doesn't really move like a 239-pound guy.
Interesting how this is playing out. Martinek, very respectful. Stawowy, well, offers a lot of danger. But there's the speed you spoke about, Chris, in there with the quick hands and the combination. But Stawowy, well, backs his way out and brings back his own payload. I mean, you know, what's it like taking a hit at this weight, Christoph?
It's scary at times, for sure. I mean, I've taken a few myself, and my goodness, these boys can hit really hard. So anything can happen in this. One-punch knockouts happen very quickly, and in training and in fights.
You know, Chris, you said that it might go to the mat. I don't see anybody rushing to the ground here. These boys, I think, want to slug it out. I think the speed advantage that Martinek has, probably going to be very useful and much needed here. Stawowy putting a lot of heat on the shots, and he looks like the kind of fighter that doesn't mind taking a little clip on the way in, provided he can deliver payload when he does so.
It's true. It's absolutely true, but you need to be a little bit more intelligent. You need to set things up. You can't just throw your hands and dip your head and walk into it like I mentioned in the walkout. Conversely, the hand fighting, the elusiveness from Martinek, that's what you got to watch out for and pay attention to, because he is definitely a more technical guy. Look at that. Hand fighting into the jab, backing off, resetting.
Got a very fluid motion, hasn't he, Martinek? On the counter there, catches Stawowy. But Stawowy will brush those off. As long as he's on the inside and as long as he can deliver those big shots that we know he's capable of. I mean, you know, there's 8 KOs there on the record. That's incredible. And there's that big right hand coming over the top. And Martinek needs to keep mobile, needs to really have a care here in terms of being a sitting target for Stawowy.
And he talked about making a run for the title. Martinek's not here to play games. And Stawowy's never been stopped, but he's got to keep the guard up, change the angles on things, stop walking onto the punches. He's been clipped a few times by Martinek.
So this pace is fairly even. I don't think anyone's rushing to do anything too dangerous, but head-hunting Stawowy, and wants to try and keep Martinek guessing. Interesting opening bout, really, where just over a minute and a half left, and Stawowy actually having difficulty closing the distance.
And finding headspace. Martinek's not been hit cleanly once. Now, yes, Martinek has not cracked him super hard when they mega power shots, but you know, he's piecing him up with the jab. He's tapped him with the left hand. There we go. That was a more firm attempt at the left straight.
Yeah, but look at that right hand from Stawowy, but he's getting caught there. Nice little combination there, the right and the left, and off-footed Stawowy, but brushes it off. This is just water off a duck's back to Stawowy. This is his office. He knows that he can take a good few shots like that, so long as he can get in on the inside and cause problems. As you said, he's dipping that head to come in, and if anything, Christoph, what we're looking at with that kind of technique trying to close the distance is an uppercut. I mean, you know, which is exactly how it played out for Pudzianowski at 70.
Yeah, definitely. For me, the intriguing matchup here is that Martinek is fighting in his prime, right? He's 32 years old, and he's taking on a boy, I guess you can say a boy at 25. And there's a big difference. You can tell there's a difference in strength. There's a difference in maturity. There's a difference in skill. And this is something that Stawowy's going to have to overcome and start getting back into fighting his fight rather than fighting Martinek's fight.
So, incredibly, the exchanges have been quite even. You know, we've tried to analyze what's going to happen. I'll tell you one thing that is not going to happen, and that's that this is not going to go to the ground very quickly. But we're just on the 10-second clapper now, and as the clock winds down, nice legs there from Stawowy, trying to mix it up a bit, but very much in control of this Martinek, and very even-paced first round. Like all the fights tonight, they could turn on a sixpence. You know, our undercard had 2 submissions in the second round. We didn't see them coming, really. There was no build-up. They were silent. This could end with a punch. But it's gone to 2. So, you know, this seems to be the happy hour for KSW 71 here, coming to you from Turun. And then, just to remind you that KSW now, with that international reach, going out to so many different countries on Viaplay, as well as on KSWTV.com. And, you know, a lot of Baltic countries getting KSW now and just seeing the incredible action that KSW MMA brings. Well, a strategy of hit and run there from Martinek.
And watch for him to kind of play with the rhythm as this round continues and turn on the power. A little bit more frequency with the power shots. He only threw a couple of them in the last fight, or in the last round, rather. If Stawowy keeps chasing like this, he's going to really open himself up. Interestingly also, Will, not an ounce of wrestling. Make no mistake, Blackbeard has excellent grappling, but I feel like they would have looked at this and thought, yeah, 22 pounds, nearly lighter. Let's not play around with getting snapped down or ending on the wrong side of a failed takedown.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, with Stawowy on top of you, we know he can throw, and we know that he can do a lot of damage in the ground and pound.
Oh, definitely. If you look at the difference between these two, the difference that I see is that Martinek is throwing his strikes straight down the middle, majority of them, whereas Stawowy is throwing more of looping punches and hook punches. And the difference between those is one is straight down the middle, is point A to B. The other one is looping punch, which is shorter, and it takes a little longer to throw as well.
Nice check. Very nice check from Martinek. But yeah, it's a great point. You fight a guy who's trying to headhunt like that with straight punches.
But this is very evenly paced and very measured, and that's something that I like. I find it respectful. No one has been daring enough to throw the big head-hunting stoppage shot, but this has become an attritional grind down for Martinek, and Stawowy is just being taken away and taken apart at distance. And I think Martinek knows the present danger, happy to move out of the way as soon as it presents.
And I get it. After getting knocked out like that, coming into KSW, making your debut against a prospect like this who has 8 knockout wins, this is the way you would fight him. That's what you would do. It's pretty much a perfect fight so far for Martinek.
Absolutely. And I have to say, I would have expected a little bit of a sharper performance from Stawowy. It's very lumpen, you know. We can see what he's going to do. He almost sends an email to Martinek, and I mean, Christoph hit it right on the head here. The age difference, the experience difference is really starting to tell here, you know, and you can see on the counters, he's very fluid, Martinek, and he's working his own fight, and Stawowy just hasn't got into this.
Yeah, so for me too, on top of that, I look at Stawowy, and every time he throws his right hand, he picks up his elbow, which is a tell for me that you're going to throw. So if you ever look really closely, look at his right hand, his elbow goes up in the air before he throws, which for me as an opponent is a tell for me that you're coming with that punch. So now I'm either going to throw something straight down the middle before you land me, or I know that you're coming, I'm going to get out of the way of that punch.
Yeah, Martinek using a lot of great defensive technique here, the experience starting to show. And this is really, you know, a matador juxtaposing a bull. That's what Martinek is doing. He's just fending, and then when he gets the opportunity, sticks. and he's just slowly discombobulating Stawowy. All Stawowy can bring to this is that power, that weight, and that forward motion. I mean, he really is like a four-wheel drive Stawowy, isn't he? And Martinek has not gone forward once, yet on the counter, he's really worked beautifully.
And every time they've clinched, they've nearly clinched twice, he's immediately out of there. I mean, it's the perfect game plan so far. It's the perfect fight. It's nearly 10 minutes in the books, and it's been almost a flawless performance for Martinek against a scary dude in Stawowy.
So, again, just under a minute left. We're seeing Martinek pace this fight, use distance, every trick in the book to keep Stawowy on his toes, and really wondering where, when, and how anything is going to manifest itself, and then throws the curve with that left hand from the rear.
I wonder where the leg kicks are. Stawowy threw one in this round, one in round one. They landed. That's how you get a guy like that to slow down. You know, Martinek is open for those kicks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, kill the body, the head will fall. How do you stop a moving target? Oh, very cheeky on the bell. Just when you think everything's done, in comes Martinek with something special. But look at Stawowy! Superman punch at the end. And now, in the final moments, as you guys have just said, what would be a great strategy now for Martinek to have a finish here, and unless he wants to go to a decision, is to finish this with something that's totally out of the blue and surprise Stawowy. Lovely embrace there at the end of the third round. Real respect these two have for each other, and you can see why, because it's been an absolutely awesome outing for the two of them. There's a little bit of wear and tear on the left eye of Martinek. It's not been all fun and games out there. Stawowy has hurt Martinek a couple of times. It's a dangerous game.
Definitely more urgency here from Stawowy. I mean, worth noting his losses are a majority and a split decision, but I think he's on the way to a unanimous decision loss to add to that. So he's never been stopped. He is tough, he is durable, but this is not what you want to do. And Martinek will just hang on his bike. I think it's, you know, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's used the, oh, and there's the uppercut that we spoke about. That would be the strategy here, to just walk onto that for Stawowy and get punished. Now we're seeing a little bit more confidence in Martinek. He realizes that at this stage in the race, you know, he's probably got a good chance here of, oh, lovely feint under there. Just glides underneath that left hand of Stawowy. And look at Martinek now, the confidence as he uses the ring, outboxes, and it really has been a classic boxing match, hasn't it? But he's outboxing Stawowy here, and I think a little bit more confidence, he might deliver payload, but I don't think he's going to rush to do it. He's going to want the win.
It's been seamless. It's been absolutely seamless. Jab, jab, reset. And every time he's not quite happy, you see the hands are out, the defense is there, the shoulder rolls, the head movement. Everything's all put together, and Stawowy is just lost in the jungle right now.
Absolutely, yeah. We see the spinning back fist, but, you know, and there's the Superman. I mean, all credit to Stawowy, but this is too slow. The work isn't quick enough. And look at Martinek, just doesn't want to get involved. He's on an Uber. He's gone. As soon as Stawowy is inside that space, out of the way, Martinek disappears. Bye-bye Pepsi Cola.
And the second that Stawowy reached for the clinch, just shucked him straight out of there and just walked right back to the middle of the cage. Just back to center in space has been the key as well. Great cage awareness, and that's the difference. That's the difference. Stawowy has knocked most of the guys he's won against out. And it's a total different situation when you fight a guy like Martinek, who has fought internationally and been often on the away fighter kind of side of things. So, impressive.
Yeah, we've got him way ahead on points here, Martinek. He's slowly discombobulated Stawowy. You know, as a strategy for Stawowy at this stage, Christoph, where would you see, you know, if the corner could speak to him now, where do you think he'd be? What would they say?
It's something that we talked about in the middle round. This is where I would take a shot. You know, I mean, Stawowy's lead leg is nice and heavy right there in front, right? You would shoot for that, or try to get him up against the fence and do a little clinch work, get him a little tired, show him a little different angle.
Yeah, that lead leg, right lead leg is just waiting to be kicked or shoot, you know, the shoot to go in. But Martinek has moved backwards this whole 3 rounds. He really has. He's just used the ring perfectly, and it's been a great dance, great footwork. And look at that, the switch hit there, the rear left hand coming through the middle, and Stawowy just hasn't had the speed, and it's the distance more than the speed. He's just not been in with the crosshairs on the target to be able to deliver the payload.
And again, just straight out of there, immediately working his way off the cage. He's never in the danger zone. And Stawowy, again, you know, you mentioned the leg kick, you mentioned the takedown potential. It's all there, but he just seems to be happy to continually going to a fight he is losing over and over and over. This would be the best opportunity right now.
Yeah, and let's make no mistake, we're still in a danger zone here. We've got a minute left in this round. We all know that at KSW MMA, everything and anything can change on a sixpence. Something dramatic could shift the dynamic and we could see something different. This is Stawowy's chance. This is his Cinderella arrival at the ball. Is he going to make good use of it? I don't know.
A lot of head pressure there, bicep pummel in response from Martinek. Over under now. Make no mistake, Stawowy's going for it, but I think the clock is on Martinek's side.
Yeah, that weight, that stability of Stawowy is keeping Martinek there, and that's what should have happened at an earlier round. You were exactly right, Christoph. He should have taken advantage of using his man against the wire and wearing him down. And as Chris says, it's up against the clock now. And Stawowy, well, realizes it's desperate. There's the 10-second clapper. We're going to see nothing meaningful, so he'll grind on till the end, but I think that's a comfortable win for Martinek.
I think so too. Very dominant, unanimous decision incoming in favor, in my opinion, of Blackbeard.
So, an official announcement to be made, but yeah, I think the guys have called this. It's almost a no-brainer, but that was smart fighting, and you could see Martinek troubled by those two losses that he came into this with. Didn't want to sacrifice or risk anything. Outboxed his opponent. I mean, it was great. A lot of action there.
We hardly saw any of the wrestling. It was almost entirely defensive. That being said, on point all the way through the night. Martinek with the hands, looking really, really good. I mean, look at that. Underneath the hook and smacks him with the left on the exit. Again, this is the end of the round. This was the best opportunity, in my opinion, for Stawowy to try to get the fight down, but a very patient, aware Martinek.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by unanimous decision, the Blackbeard, Michal Martinek.